What up, YouTube? This video was taken on this Thursday afternoon, December 9th, 2021. Time right now is 3:04 p.m. And it's day 9 of Packcember, the last day of single digits. And as you can tell, I'm flying in the evening today when normally I would be flying in the morning. That's because I work night shift. That's why I was flying in the morning. I was flying right after I clock out. And my sleep has been off this week, and this morning I was super tired, so I didn't. Oh, I almost ran over a grave, but it's not my fault because that's a new grave and it's out in the middle of nowhere for some reason. Oh, so this is a local spot I fly. So anyway, my sleep was messed up, and with all the fog that was going on, I decided to fly in the evening. And yeah, so I'm also flying at a local spot today. I wanted to fly at a local spot today because I feel like my flying hasn't been that good, so I wanted to fly at a place that I was comfortable with to see if the flying's any better today. I guess I'm kind of hypercritical of myself, and with the whole Packcember thing, when you go and fly one pack, you're not going to get the best. It's not going to be the best edit. I really don't do edits. But just like yesterday when I was flying through those tubes, after I was looking at the footage, I thought to myself that it would have been a lot cooler if I did a roll while I was going through the tubes. And I wasn't thinking about that when I was actually flying. Well,
welcome to Mambo.
So I don't know if that's because I was tired or, I was just kind of not comfortable since I was flying a place I wasn't familiar with. So I wanted to come to a place I was familiar with, even though I've been trying to keep the local spots, not using the local spots so I could use them in case of emergencies. But yeah, this is a local spot. It is a graveyard, which me personally, I don't have any convictions against flying in a graveyard because, the Bible makes it very clear that there's only one of two places you go when you die. And either place you go, I don't think the people are worried about where their bodies are located. But of course, if someone did show up, I wouldn't fly out of respect. And the cops actually showed up here once when I was flying in a small town, and they said that I could actually fly because this is technically considered a park. So here we go. There's a cool tree dive gap. I'm also really behind on Q&A, so I figured going to a spot I was comfortable with, could knock out the Q&A a lot better. So I kind of went over what the questions were. I'll post who posted the questions. Oh, that's not a good way to start off. But anyway, one of the questions were, what's my rate and camera angle? So the short answer is my rates are 1200, 1000, and 800. That's roll, pitch, and yaw. And I've been flying them for a couple months. You see, what happened is when I learned to fly on the Blackout Mini H, and pretty soon, I learned to fly on the Blackout Mini H, and the equipment used on that quad became obsolete pretty fast. So when I went to build a quote-unquote modern quad, I just copied a Stingy Swarm build, which was a Xhover R5X. So when I built that, I just plugged in his rates, because I remember at the time he said, don't use my rates because a lot of people can't fly with my rates. Something does not sound right on the squad, but I'm going to keep on flying anyway. My current seems fine, so I don't think it's drawing excess current. Let's see if I can find a cool fork in the tree to play with. So he said don't use his rates because a lot of people can't use his rates, but I use his rates anyway, and that's what I learned to fly on. They were extremely high, and at the time he was running a lot of Expo. More recently, I reevaluated my rates, and I tuned my rates down. I went and I polled YouTubers that I enjoyed their flying, and I noticed a trend that people were hugging around the 1,000. People were hugging around the 1,000 mark, so that's why I made my rates like that. Okay, I'm gonna have to land. So that's how I reevaluated to that. I reevaluated my rates because I was very inconsistent on my rolls. Oh, maybe it was those birds. Oh no, it's definitely, look at that. No, the motor wasn't too hot. That's the one thing, this build, man, the motors don't get hardly hot at all. So that's why I reevaluate my rates, but I'm still very inconsistent with my rolls. And I think it's just because I'm not the type of pilot that can have good muscle memory. And I think that's the key. Like with Steel, you know, he can just do all these rolls and it's all muscle memory. And I don't think I'm good at that. I'm trying to find a good, good fork in these trees so I can, I was practicing a thing where I fling my quad upside down through a fork. Oh, right here. Right here. Okay, I'll do it right here. Should I do it? I should. Yeah, too many tree branches. I'll do this the other way. But you know, it still didn't solve my problem, so I'm not going to worry about it anymore. And then my camera angle is 25 degrees, which that's the same thing. Stingy Swarm on his was running 25 degrees, so that's why I did that, and I just kept it that way ever since. Although I said in a previous video, I have a feeling that 25 degrees causes my cruising speed to be faster than it should. Let me see if I can hit that dive gap. Oh. Oh. Come on. Oh. I was trying not to disarm. That's been happening recently. Oh, you can't see my props. But in turtle mode, one of my props has been spinning, like with no current. I think it's kind of weird. Okay, so another question I got was, have I ever lost a quad and what's the worst crash I ever had? I really don't have any crashes that I find too memorable. Obviously, I had a lot of crashes and I've broken a lot of stuff over the course of this hobby. One thing I will say is when I was learning to fly the Blackout Mini H, they used nylon screws and nylon standoffs. So every time and then I was using glass nylon props. So every time you had a crash, the quad would just go into pieces, the top plate would come off, and the props would explode with the glass nylon. Let's see if I can find a place to do a Matty flip. Although this battery's almost done. So it seemed like I was crashing a lot in the beginning and just not being able to recover, not being able to fly. Oh yeah, I know where I can do a Matty. Through here. Oh, that was horrible. I haven't done a Matty this whole entire Packcember. Oh. I might have to walk back for this one. Oh, what am I doing? I put it in turtle mode, but I'm right side up. Oh, I'm cooking this battery.
Low battery. 18.7 volts. Low battery.
Probably should have walked back for it. So I still need to do a Matty sometime during Packcember. So then,
Telemetry lost.
oh yeah, so let me finish this question. So I had a lot of, what was my thought process? Oh, the battery slid back. Oh yeah, so I had a lot of like unrecoverable crashes early on. Like you would crash and just your quad would explode. So when I think about crashing, I just think about those times. It was crazy the way we were, and that was normal. We put up with that your quad would just explode every time you crashed. But when I think about crashes also, I've had 4 water landings, I guess you can call it. And 2 of those water landings were no damage was done. I dried out the quad and it was fine, including this red quad had a water landing, and maybe and I was being a real idiot. I'll overlay the footage of that water landing. I was being an idiot during that. But this setup, I conformal code everything, and I was afraid about the Vista unit because I don't do anything with the Vista unit, but I just totally dried it out and it was fine the next day. Flew the next day, no problems. That's why I like these individual ESCs, conformal code individual ESCs. So when it comes to crashing, that's what I think about. And I've never lost a quad. I have always recovered all my quads. So all 4 water landings, I ran and jumped in as fast as I possibly could to get the quad. One of the quads was in the water for like 2 hours because I had to go to Walmart and buy scuba gear, not scuba gear, but snorkeling gear, because I needed the goggles to dive to find the quad. And that was another one that was on really old equipment. That was with a Naze 32 board, and that was another one that recovered with no damage. So yeah, this ended up being more of a rambling video than a Packcember video, it feels like. But I have some cool spots lined up next week, and I'm going to try to dedicate more thought into Packcember next week. So make sure you stick around. I'll see you tomorrow.